Yes, people, welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. Hope you're well. Hope you are enjoying the sunshine wherever you may be or not. And make sure you are smashing the like button on this stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and get involved in the interactive comment section, whether that is on replay or live right now. Hope everyone is well. I haven't been live since that FA Cup defeat. In fact, I haven't done any content since the FA Cup defeat because honestly, it's still rent free in my head. And yeah, we are back ready to talk Villa, and there's so much in the Villa world. We're going to cram it all in tonight. We're actually going to go a little bit wild. We're going to do as much as we can. So make sure you appreciate the stream by hitting that like button for me. Let's run those likes up. Let's get some of the Villas in the house. And let me know how you're feeling. Are you the same as me? Have you recovered from Saturday's abysmal FA Cup debacle? Or is it gone? Are you onto it? Are you focusing on the league? Let me know how you feel. Are you over? Are you over the FA Cup? But we've got to start. There's some big news today. What we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Emi Martinez, Saudi Arabia. Money, money, money. It's John Duran 2.0, basically. We're going to be raking in some money, I think, for Emi Martinez. So is it time to say goodbye, basically? I think there's a nice little opera song, isn't it? Time to say goodbye. There you go, a bit of opera for you. Is it time to say goodbye to Emi Martinez? Leon Bailey, as well, has been touted as one of those players who could potentially also go to Saudi. So it looks like Villa are going to be very, very busy in the summer. And I think we're going to be busy really early on. So there's some news about Emi Martinez in that essence. The big one behind the scenes, Chris Heck. What the heck is going on? Is it, is it a heck of a move for Villa? Hey, there's the Chris Heck puns. But yeah, listen, he is to leave at the end of the season and Villa are going in a different direction. That man is nothing but Marmite. A lot of people do not like him, and some people absolutely, think he's done a good job. There's people who sit on the fence and have said, look, he's just the face. Basically, no matter what, he has to, relay the message of the owners, and he's the face who takes the criticism. We're going to talk about his impact on ticket prices. We're going to talk about his impact in terms of hospitality, and see what you guys think of that. Some other news as well. Obviously, this happened a few days ago. But we'll be discussing the likes of Marcus Rashford out for the season. Man United want to recall his loan. Are we going to sign Rashford or is he Barcelona bound? And of course, the other one is quite interestingly about Kane Kessler-Hayden. Again, is he another player that gets another chance at right back for Villa? He's had another brilliant season at Preston North End. He's absolutely smashed it. Is he going to get a chance? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, lots and lots and lots of chat. But yeah, what should we do? Let's go. Let's go into some of the big news then, which has come from John Percy, and of course Matt Law DT. So I'm going to share this on the screen for you now. Big up, by the way, to the following. Big up to James Wood. Big up to Michael Dimmock. Big up to Pete Evans. Big up to Pete Tandy. Big up to my dad. Big up to Michael Dimmock. Big up to my mum. Big up to everyone in the chat. Do comment. As you can see, I'm absolutely melting already. I'm struggling with the heat, people. I'm not going to lie. Struggling with the heat. So there we go. So, but yeah, Michael, you've done probably the absolute right thing, staying off the socials. I just don't know why. I just couldn't face going live for a couple of days. Sunday, definitely. And then the last 2 days, I was a bit like, I could talk about Rashford and Asensio, and I was going to, but honestly, that the realization that the season now is all dependent on the league is absolutely nuts, in my opinion. So there we go. But great to see some familiar names and faces in. Make sure you share the stream around for me as well. But let's go straight into the story right here, right now, live and direct. Here it is. Emi Martinez and Leon Bailey have emerged as the latest targets for the Saudi Pro League. Aston Villa preparing for another busy summer. I mean, listen, if you thought January transfer window was nuts, I think this someone could be even worse. What we do need, though, is to get the deals done quick and early. I'm not messing around here. If they're going to go, they need to go. And we need to basically get the new goalkeeper in. And this is who we've been linked with, by the way. Just so you're all aware on Emi Martinez, I'm going to ask you some of your opinions on this, of whether we can upgrade. And actually, look, we've got Nick F saying, Emi's crap, we need an upgrade. I mean, look, crap. is a harsh word. I think it's an over-exaggeration. But basically, Emi has not been informed this season. Emi Martinez has dropped his standards way below par. He's made too many individual errors and not saved enough shots. And his stats back that up. The goals that we are conceding are ridiculous. We've also conceded 22 times for the first shot on goal. And furthermore, as well, I think I read a stat somewhere that we have 200, something like over 255% more mistakes, defensive errors leading to goals or something like that. And so that's an interesting one. Jason says, we'd miss Emi if he left. Be careful what you wish for, which is a fair comment. Look, there's a lot of stigma around Emi Martinez because of basically he won his silverware with the FA Cup with Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. But then he got basically bombed out and said, listen, you're still not going to be number one. You're bombed out. And Villa gave him a lifeline and Villa gave him a chance. And he's been nothing but grateful for that chance and opportunity. He's been pretty epic. He's had very good performances. But Emi has built his sort of career globally, not through Aston Villa. It's through his Argentinian performances, through his penalty shootout heroics, through his World Cup final saves. And so you have to sometimes maybe take Emi Martinez of Argentina away from Emi Martinez of Villa. Now, there's no doubt about it. Debu has made some big game-changing saves for Villa. Emi Martinez has no doubt made absolutely massive moments, massive saves. He, for me, is one of the best at coming to claim the ball from crosses and corners. Very, very good in the air. But this season, what's probably happened is that there's been more of a spotlight on him. And there's been a lot more individual errors as a goalkeeper. Shots that he would have expected to have saved this season, he hasn't. And so the question is, maybe with Emi Martinez, has he hit his shelf life? He's so determined to win a trophy for Aston Villa. He bangs on about it. He said his actual goal this season was to lift the FA Cup with Villa. Hasn't happened. He wants to win a trophy with Villa. He wants to reward the club that gave him a chance in life. So I've always got a soft spot for Emi. Very humble guy, very down to earth, has basically said, I owe Aston Villa one. But Saudi money. It's all I'm going to keep saying is Saudi money. So look, Roy says sell Emi for some good money. I won't mind. Exactly. Unless it's silly money. Emi stays with better number 2, please, to change him. Now, let's have a look at the link. And by the way, big up to all the comments. Make sure you smash in the like button. And look, James says, what keeper doesn't make mistakes? Exactly that. What have we got here? Dowen says 100% Emi has not been on form this season. He's made a great save, but I still don't think it means we should sell him. And there's some really good balanced points in the chat. Big up to Lee Collison as well. It's there. Bozzy says it's time to sell Emi for me. And Bailey, let's get some fresh talent in. Rashford and Senso ain't going to stay. So let's go again. I'm going to come on to those boys as well. Big up to Les and Jamie. But look, let's show the potential replacement. So it has been rumoured and very strongly that basically Monchi went and watched this guy over the weekend at Espanyol, Joan Garcia. And he's arguably the best goalkeeper in La Liga this season and probably isn't far off a Spain call-up. He's won the the number 1 spot at Espanyol in over 12 months ago. And I can't see him join us to be second choice now he's established himself, which is the big point here. Why would someone who has broken into the Espanyol team 12 months in claim the number 1 and now all of a sudden come to Villa to be number 2? I don't see it personally. So the link and the rumour is that we're going for, again, this sort of money board approach. We're going for this global scouting network. And once again, Monchi has gone to Spain to recruit. Now, I'm going to ask you this, first of all, in the chat, because I do see, like Bozzy said in the chat and a few of you, I see a massive squad overhaul in the summer. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 6, 7 outgoings. Big name outgoings as well. And we need to refresh, reinvent the wheel, go again. Do you trust Monchi and Unai Emery with a squad rebuild? And second of all, do you like this sort of Spanish moneyball technique that we go for these sort of young, unproven players but have started to establish themselves in the league in Joan Garcia? It's probably Juan Garcia. I probably absolutely butcher that. How do you feel about it? Let me know in the chat right now. Do you trust Monchi? Do you like this sort of recruitment? Like, again, if we haven't watched much La Liga, you probably haven't heard this guy before. You haven't really probably taken in what it is. So, look, this is a really good post as well. Big up to Total Villa. I think you tweet some really sensible stuff. So look at this. Look at this from Total Villa. Here we go. Obviously, we don't want to lose Emi. However, we know we're always pushing the limits of PSR, and that requires potentially unwanted sales. Again, look no further than Douglas Luiz and Moussa Diaby last summer. We didn't want to sell those guys. We also probably didn't want to sell John Duran. But money talks, PSR talks, and this is the factor of where we are. So, go to here again. Juan Garcia, I'm going to call him Juan now. Is it Joan? Is it Joan? Is it Juan? What one is it? Juan Garcia has a release clause of 25 million euros, which is 21.3 million. And it's the best keeper in La Liga. So you can get a keeper, first choice keeper, for 21 million. I mean, wow. Not bad price, is it, for a keeper? We could probably get nearly triple that for Emi Martinez and sign a very capable replacement who is nearly 10 years younger. Again, this guy is a long-term future prospect in replacing Emi Martinez. And it says, when you remove emotion from this, you can see why the club might be tempted. This is modern-day football. And I want to echo those points. We have to move away from emotions, sentiment, feel-good vibes, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't get you to win trophies. Simple as that. And I'm throwing people like John McGinn into those categories. Dare I say it, I would never want to see him leave. But when people started throwing Tyrone Mings into that, Ollie Watkins might go into that. Those connections and emotions that we have with said players, right? We have to lose sentiment now, and we have to think what's best. If we get, and he's absolutely spot on, if we get a sum of money for a goalkeeper of Emi Martinez's age, and we get something around the fee of, let's go, so 60 mil. Are you selling Emi Martinez, a goalkeeper, for 60 million in the chat? Yes or no? This is your time to vote in the chat right now. Comment yes or no. Would you sell Emi Martinez right now for 60 million? Or do you think a goalkeeper of his caliber is almost irreplaceable for how good he is, that a new goalkeeper will not settle? And I'll tell you why. Look at the likes of Andre Onana at Manchester United. They got rid of De Gea. Onana flopped. Chelsea, look at the crisis they're having with goalkeepers right now. Robert Sanchez, Petrovic, not good enough. Arsenal, they bought in Aaron Ramsdale and then they realised there's better out there. Got in David Raya. Manchester City, again, evolving. Edison now, what's his shelf life? Is it time to go to Ortega or better? So you look at this circle and you have to ask yourself, PSR, if it saves us from PSR, is Emi Martinez the man to lose? Or is it Ollie Watkins? Is it Leon Bailey? Is it a Luca Dean? Who is the man that you sacrifice to get over that PSR threshold and know you can replace them and be okay? Now, real talk here, and I'll come to the chat in a minute. Have we missed Douglas Luiz this season? Have we? Have we missed Douglas Luiz this season? Because my predominant thoughts, feelings, and emotions on that one are, no, we haven't. I actually don't think Douglas Luiz is the position that we have missed. I don't think we've struggled without Dougley. And I honestly believe that actually, yeah, we have not missed Douglas Luiz. Though I'd like him back, and I think it's great square. When you talk about actually missing the impact of players, Dougie took a good corner, scored a good penalty. Does he do the same as what Tielemans and Clarendon? In fact, what I'd argue is Douglas Luiz, if we had him still, probably over bolsters our midfield and issues the sentiment of how do you play Kamara, Tielemans, and Luiz. So, yeah, I'm basically looking at that. So, Why am I going on about Douglas Luiz? Because I'm going to go back to Emi Martinez, and I'm going to come to your comments. If we lose Emi Martinez, would it be so noticeable that we miss him? We miss him that much? That's what I've got to ask. So Jason's on about Dougie, 10 goals and 10 assists. How many of them were penalties, those goals, though? That's what I'm going to ask on that one. So very mixed on Dougie. But his goal contributions have been excellent. But I agree with what Jason is saying as well, that, he's been there. Some people said Tielemans better. I probably would echo that as well. If he's going to Western Superman, says leave it, cousin. Jason says, people are highlighting Emi's recent mistakes. You forget how many times he has saved us. So, on that one, recency bias is a thing. So, probably in the last month, Emi Martinez has definitely made more mistakes than big game moments. I can count on my hand right now Emi Martinez mistakes. You talk about PSG, the first goal. You talk about Man City, Bernardo Silva. You talk about, for me, getting beat by some of the Palace goals in the FA Cup. Eze's one way, takes the wrong step the wrong way. Should you be getting beaten that far out from Sarr? Yeah, there's some questionable stuff at times from Emi Martinez this season. That's recency bias. But what Jason is saying is the bigger picture of Emi is he saved us more times than hurt us. Agree. Now, last season, there's no doubt Emi was irreplaceable. I asked this question of this, though. Can a goalkeeper, once they've had their wobbly patch, or once they've had that sort of corridor of uncertainty, let's call it that, how easy is it for a goalkeeper to recover? How easy is it for a goalkeeper to refine form? Because for a goal scorer, you just need to put the ball in the back of the net. But when you are in, and I'll keep using this guy as an example, Andre Onana is mentally cooked. He's cooked because he knows the whole world is watching every mistake he makes. He's got players like Nemanja Matic mocking him, fellow professionals mocking him openly on social media, saying the worst United keeper to ever exist. Every time there's a mistake, he's being scrutinised. Not easy to recover from that unless you maybe leave the country. Emi Martinez isn't getting scrutinised to those levels, but what is happening is Villa fans are now starting to see more Emi mistakes than Emi moments. And that is the difference. He's paid to stop the goals going in. He's paid to save the ones he should be saving. He hasn't always done that this season. So very mixed on that. But yeah, listen, it's really hard to not have recency bias. And Corus has said Emi won many matches with it. It's true. Bozzy saying, look at Matt Sells at Forest class, way better than Emi this season. Exactly. Will Matt Sells be the same next season? That's a big thing. That is a big thing on that as well. So, look, Dave saying we've not missed over a layman yet. Look, it's our defence has been rubbish, so it's no wonder Emi is suffering. 100%. 100%. I would actually probably say, though, that your foundation of your defence is also built on your goalkeeper. So, what about this then? Why is it when Robin Olsen plays in goal, the defence goes all shaky and wobbly? We usually blame it on Robin, right? Not the defence. When Robin Olsen's in goal, I never really hear fans criticise the defence. It's always focusing on Robin Olsen's mistakes. I think Emi Martinez is getting let off a bit too easily because of his reputation and who he is. I'll go back to that stat. And the reason why it haunts me, there's two statistics. He has the second lowest save percentage in the Premier League this season. Second lowest, behind Leicester City. I think it's Hermansen or something he got. The next one, so the second lowest second save percentage in the Premier League. And then the next one is 22 times this season, Villa have conceded on the first shot on target. My goalkeeper, that's got to fall on the goalkeeper as well, right? That's a concentration thing. That is a concentration thing, isn't it? And I just think that I'm absolutely ready to not see Emi Martinez leave. I would happily say, listen, Goalkeepers are a tough breed to find. You very rarely. In fact, let's question everyone in chat. In the chat, name me who you think the top 3 keepers are in the Premier League right now. There we go. Name me the top 3 Premier League goalkeepers in the Premier League right now. I bet all of you have to really sit there and think. I bet a lot of you have to sit there and think instead of just doing. I bet you have to think who the top 3 Premier League goalkeepers are right now. Or does it roll off your tongue? Are you able to just go, bish, bash, bosh, I know who that is? So that's what I'm saying. Now, look, this is where the final bit on Emi Martínez before we move on from him, and I'll show you. So there we go. This is an interesting point. We've had about 14 different CV pairings, and only one of them is a lead in time. He's barely played. It's on the manager. That's on the manager. And I'll be honest, look, Saturday's stream, I probably said some controversial stuff on my rant. If you didn't see it, then definitely go back and watch it. Maybe not, actually, because you've got to get over that Crystal Palace stuff. But I spoke with chest, I spoke from the heart, and I basically said that at times I think Unai Emery has to take some more criticism now. I think Unai Emery is a man that is worrying me at times because he's doing insane stuff. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The Tyrone Mings situation, well, that's another conversation. But I would like to say that Emi Martínez we could do with him. But on the other hand, if we're going to get 60 million plus for a goalkeeper of his age, I'm going to the Saudi League going, thank you very much. I'll have your money right now. We'll find someone else. Did we recover without Moussa Diaby and Leon Bailey? What I would say, again, my only worry is, have we ever recovered from John Duran, Diaby, Douglas Luiz? Well, John Duran, we basically got loans in and signed Donyell Marlin. So, look, if we had John Duran still around, would we be in the top 4? Would we be in the final of an FA Cup? Questions have to be asked. Are we actually using the Saudi money well, or are we just doing it to get over PSR? But this is why I think Emi could leave, genuinely, because of this. Emi Martínez has an interesting proposal from Saudi Arabia with a salary well above what they can offer him in European football. Okay? Now, is Emi in it for the money or for the statue? Is Emi in it for the money or the statue? A goalkeeper at his age? Be nice to earn a comfy bit of wedge, wouldn't it? Go and pray in Saudi Arabia. Go do a couple of years there. Or does he want to win a trophy at Villa and have a statue? It's what you got to ask yourself, people. Is he in it for the money or the statue? I sure hope that it's the latter. I hope it's for a statue. I hope that we got a man who says, do you know what? Screw your money. Aston Villa are the club that gave me the chance in life, which we did, by the way. It's never Arsenal. It's not Arsenal. Arsenal did not give Emi Martínez the chance in life. It was Aston Villa. Arsenal gave him the platform. We gave him the opportunity. No, sorry. Let me word that. Arsenal gave him the opportunity. We gave him the platform. And I think that maybe he feels like he's got to owe us. So, yeah. Big up to Lee Collison. Lee Collison. I'm actually, Heidi and I think, are actually going to come down Western-super-Mare very soon. We've got to make a little trip down there. So, big up to Lee. Big up the Western-super-Mare Massive. And thank you for the super chat. And I hope you shoot up with Les and Jamie tonight on Call of Duty. Kev says, lots of rumours going around. Rodgers could be going to City. Also, what's your thoughts on us possibly signing De Bruyne and Nipper? And will we see Enzo Barrenechea back with us next season? Great questions, Kevin. I'll try and blitz through that. I can imagine we're going to do a lot of content on Morgan Rodgers this summer with rumours. And Nipan and Enzo as well. Kevin De Bruyne, I think he only comes in as a coach, not a player. Rodgers to Man City is lazy. I don't think he's a Pep Guardiola type player. He's too off the cuff. He's too flary for Pep. Nipan, I think, will come. And Enzo, it's the big old added debate. If we get Enzo, it's probably because we're losing Kamara. But Enzo seems to be really happy in Spain. He seems to want to stay out there. When you hear a lone player say he's basically desperate to stay out where he was, again, sort of probably upsets me a bit more to think, do you know what? Probably missed the cue on that one. I'm probably going to have to rethink that one, and try and cash in where we can. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on those ones. But as I said, we will be covering every day the business in the summer. That's a big up to you, Kev. Sales is the only one that stands out for me. Allison says, Lee, I agree on Allison, and Sales has been there. Clubs cannot make losses of more than 105 million over a 3-year period, so it depends if it have been recorded losses in their account. I wish we got some dodgy books. This is our only opinion, but how many times have we have the key first shot goal in way too many? Exactly. Michael says Emi's a late bloomer, which is true. Les and Jamie, big up to you. Frosty said, is that not tough enough? That's what the Saudi clubs do these days, unfortunately. The Saudi clubs come in and propose offers behind the players, behind clubs' backs, and do it well in advance. To be honest, most football transfers happen like that for the summer. A lot of these bigger deals have already sort of happened behind closed doors. Some keep them very quiet, some vocalise them. I don't want to see Bailey leave, by the way. I just want to put that one out there. I think there's a real danger of us losing Leon Bailey and seeing him tear it up for another club that could compete against us. Now, if Bailey goes to Saudi, I can sort of... Yeah, let me reword that. If Leon Bailey goes to Saudi Arabia, I can live with it. If Leon Bailey goes to a Premier League club, I can't live with it. I'll be fuming. So, yeah, we need to not... we need to basically be careful on that one. Yeah, no worries, Michael. If you live in Western as well, we'll definitely get that on the members community page. Going for the money isn't a bad idea. That's good news as well, Gary. But yeah, big up to you guys. Right, so let's move on from Emi, and let's go on to quickly Chris Heck. Bailey does not deserve to stay. So, look, I'm looking at Bailey's season has been hindered with a bit of injury. But Bailey, for me, is something that I feel an Unai Emery system still needs. When you watch Villa under Unai Emery, correct me if I'm wrong, but I see what I would say a more robotic build-up at times. When Villa seem to go off the cuff, when Villa seem to go a little bit rogue, when Villa go a little bit rock and roll, I actually like that Villa. PSG at home, prime example. I feel like the game plan went out the window, and the idea was just get the ball in their half and let's see what we can do. Feed Rashford, feed Rodgers, get the ball, see what we can do. Right? That's genuinely, from a tactical point of view, from a tactical point of view, I don't think I've seen a game like that from Villa in a long time where we've just gone shackles off. Now, when Unai Emery overplays, and we've had many first halves this season where it's been a slow tempo. You can picture it now, chat, right? The slow tempo, the slow build-up, pass sideways, pass backwards, go forward, come back. Play teams in a low block. And it's very frustrating. We've had a lot of first halves this season where we've come off scratching our head going, do you know what? That's crap. But at least we've come good in the second half. I would say that Villa really still need those flair-type players to break that sort of Unai Emery predictability. And Rashford has given us that little bit of, life of what it could be like to see a player just take the ball and run with it. As simple as that, right? Even players like Jacob Ramsey and Morgan Rodgers sometimes have been overcoached by Unai. They've had the flair taken out of them, right? So, I'm going to say this. Would you not agree that basically for Villa to keep flair players like Leon Bailey, I watch Leon Bailey, he gets the ball, maybe he's not as effective at what he does, but he gets the ball sometimes and tries to take on a player. Crystal Palace at the weekend, I'll use recency bias, the most recent game. The only player that basically looked like he was going to do a little bit of damage. Got the ball, ran forward. So, yeah, I get frustrated at that. I get frustrated at seeing us sometimes slow the ball down. Sometimes watching Villa is like watching Gareth Southgate's England as worse. It can be like that sometimes with the tempo. That's not even a joke. It can be. We've wasted many halves of footballs and lots of draws, as Stoned Villain 79 says. Red Rebellion says, do Villa fans think Watkins could possibly stay off his mindset on Arsenal? It's all cuckoo up there. Watkins and Arsenal's all... I reckon Ollie wants that move, but I reckon that ship sailed. And that's going to be an interesting dynamic. I think that Ollie would want Arsenal to come to working for him again, but I think Arsenal have got their eyes on Gyökeres on that. By the way, just on Arsenal, is everyone low-key sort of happy that they lost last night to PSG? Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm very much all on PSG winning the Champions League, so we can say we lost to the winners. You know what I mean? So yeah, big up to you guys. I'm absolutely all aboard the PSG train. Okay, I was going to Chris Hack. Right, let's get to Chris Hack. What do we think of the Chris Hack news? Massive news coming out of the football club today. To sort of announce that. Now, I said this. I do feel sorry for Chris Hack. The reason why I feel sorry for Chris Hack is because he is the voice. He is the voice of Aston Villa to the fans where they don't like it. So, look at this. Leadership announcements. Chris Hack to leave AVFC at the end of 24-25 season. Interesting post, even that right in there. A really interesting one. So I think that, I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. The write-up, even better. Puff. Look what they call him. Chat, look what they call him. Oh, it didn't go to the right page. Let me put the right article on for you. Look what they've said about Chris Hack. This is an Aston Villa article on Chris Hack. So let's have a look at this. As I said, this guy's Marmite in the Villa echelons and Villa camp. But let's read it. So it says, Aston Villa have today announced that Chris Hack, President of Business Operations, so American, by the way, has made the decision to move back to the United States to be closer to his family at the end of the season and will not renew his contract with Villa. So fair enough. He's going back to his family. He's going back to his roots. But I think he probably would feel a little bit lonely and a little bit fed up with how his time at Villa has gone. He's taken a lot of criticism. And yeah, I think that, maybe it's a good move for him. Is it a good move for Villa, though? Well, let's read on what they say about him. So they say, Hack joined Aston Villa in May 2023, bringing 30 years, so American when you read this, by the way, bringing 30 years of sports industry experience to the club, including 9 years of president of the Philadelphia 76ers, a national basketball franchise. Hack has played an important role in driving the growth of Aston Villa's business and commercial operations. Nassif has said, we'd like to thank Chris for his vision and leadership over the last 2 years. Bloody hell, he's only been here for 2 years. Really? Through strategic partnerships, sponsorships, refurbished hospitality spaces, and much more, he's helped establish AVFC as a world-class operation and commercial success. We wish him all the best in all his future endeavours. And Heck goes on to say, Aston Villa is one of the best clubs in the world, grateful to have the opportunity. And basically said, from the beginning, we laid out a clear strategic roadmap. I'm so happy with the unrivaled progress we've made on that plan. In doing so, we've built a world-class team off the pitch to match the one that Unai Emery has built on it. I'm an Aston Villa fan for life and look forward to seeing the club continue to move in history. So they are going to look for a new successor. But let's go back to that key point, what Nassif said, which is that he said, through strategic partnerships, sponsorships, refurbished hospitality spaces, and much more. Now, those points there, let's have a look at what Heck actually has done. Let's see what Heck has actually done. Sponsorships. The Adidas. Let's talk about the Adidas. I think that was a massive move. think that was a massive move. The Adidas sponsorship. I think that was huge. I think that takes Villa in the right direction. We've also globalised. We've got partner and twin clubs, and I think all that stuff. The refurbished hospitality spaces is an interesting one because that is the one that's pissed off a lot of fans. And yeah, big up to everyone in chat, by the way. I'm going to go on that in a second. Let me come to some of your thing. I know you're talking about PSG there. Ronald says, still angry after that performance. I think our season over. I don't trust this Villa team deep. Big up to my love, Heidi. Thank you for watching. She's at work, unfortunately, so she's not here with me. Heck is just another suit. There's plenty more out there. Krim, big up to you. Long time no see, my friend. Said Heck did a decent job, in my opinion, but the most interesting thing is, can his replacement do a better job? Now, I'll come on to the replacement in a minute. Look, basically, in a nutshell, right? In a nutshell, corporate and hospitalities have absolutely pissed a lot of regular season ticket holders and match day experiences. The whole end ruined by hospitality. Yeah, absolutely ruined now by hospitality, the whole end, and not the same experience. I like, by the way, Adam Sky's very funny in the comments about that Tifo. Still running through in my head how bad our display was in that semi-final. Ticket prices. £90 is probably the thing that killed it for me. I think that was the most tone deaf message I've probably ever seen. £90 for a Champions League ticket. Am I wrong, chat? Because personally, for me, when you look at that and the pricing of that, that's exactly the model that football fans are trying to avoid. Stop outpricing everyday supporters to stop them going to games. £90 for a Champions League match day ticket was probably my final nail of Chris Heck. Now, listen, as people have said in the chat, it's just a suit. It may not have been Chris Heck's decision. It may not have been Chris Heck's decision to actually go and, conclude that we should be at those levels. Could be from the owners. And that is the worry. That actually, Chris Heck's just the face. The next one who comes in, will just be on the same wavelength as the owner, as Chris Heck, and just have to deliver the message the same. So, yeah, I want to know. I don't see massive change, basically. What I see is a new fall guy who will take the heat, who will take the bait, who will basically, have to face up to fans. And let's see what happens with that one. So, yeah, they did, Les and Jamie, or they got rearranged to different stands. I bet the Nets won't be American. Yeah, I do wonder that, Les and Jamie. I do think they'll go with American approach again with Wes Edens and Nassif. I think they very much like the franchises, the baseball and American football and the hockey owners and people who've got experience in there. So, Red Rebellion, big up to you, by the way, in the chat. I'm really appreciating your comments as well. And we've had a decent season, but it depends where we finish now, in which European spot. Right. So, Chris, I'm not going to spend too much time in because, look, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal for me. I don't think it changes too much about our football club and how we operate. It's just a new face, maybe a new direction slightly, but probably the same messages. So there we go. By the way, chat, make sure we've got 26 likes. Let's get up to 30 likes on here if you haven't done so already. That would be amazing. And of course, do subscribe to the channel if you are new. What I was going to say is as well, we are also on the road to 100 members. I'm going to put the YouTube membership in the chat. Part of the AVFTS member clan can cost 99p to join. 99p to join. I'll pin it here. Come and be part of it. And let's see what you guys think of that. And Elliot says, same Josh, the Champions League price is totally soured it for me too. It's crazy, mate. £90. 60, 65. Yeah, you've got me. And then what about the category? The other thing that annoyed me, was remember when they made Brighton out of nowhere just before Christmas a Category A game because Brighton were doing well. So Category A at Villa is the higher price range when we play the Cartel 6. They put the prices up for Brighton and Wolves. Disgusting. Outpricing fans. That's my biggest issue. So there you go. Michael's been a member for 28 months. Damn. Quality work. But yeah, if you want to remember, you get a nice star, you get a nice emoji, and you get to be part of the AVFTS giveaways, and the membership badge is on your name as well. It's worth it. We've got people in the chat who are part of the clan. Come and join it. But let's quickly divert then to Rashford and Asensio. So I'm going to show you something. I put out these tweets, and the interaction I got from them was absolutely massive. Massive. Red Rebellion says, our owners have frozen ticket price for 8 years. That's quality ownership. Are you Liverpool, Red Rebellion? Just from the badge. Big up to you. So I put this tweet yesterday. In your opinion, do you think Marcus Rashford is worth the 40 million release clause? Or do you think other areas of the squad need further investment? And then the day before, I put, right now, would you take Marco Asensio for around 50 million this summer? We aren't quite seeing the same output that we did when he first arrived. This got over 178 comments, the Asensio one, and retweets. Rashford ones had 128. So we've had so much interaction from Villa fans on the Rashford and Asensio situation, right? And that's the question I'm going to ask you. And if you do have X, then do make sure you follow me, AVFTS1. I asked the question to X, Rashford Asensio. First of all, chat, I've got to ask you in here. Marco Asensio, 15 million euros, but wages going to be high. Right now, would you take Asensio? How does Asensio feel to you? Do you think he hinders Aston Villa? Do you think he improves Aston Villa? Do you think that actually if we sign him permanently, it's going to be a bit of a flop? Do you think we get a better output of him? As I've said, he came to Villa and he started off incredible. A real massive couple of braces, a real ooze of class, a real big game player. What we've seen of him the last 3 or 4 games is absolutely pathetic. Southampton, 2 penalty misses, go awful in that game. PSG, not favoured to play against his old team, didn't start either. I don't think he started against Newcastle. Well, he thumped them 4-1. Actually, he did, didn't he? I'm trying to remember now. And then Crystal Palace, what the hell was he doing? Trying to play deeper than Dougie. I'm having a shocker. Not Dougie. Tried to play deeper than Tielemans and Kamara. I honestly thought Asensio, his levels have dropped off. And the biggest thing Heidi and I always talk about is when Asensio goes off the pitch, the tempo increases. Asensio slows things down. So, my thoughts and feelings are, though 15 million euros is a cheap one, the wage worries me. And that's the big thing. The wage worries me. Second of all, I think, and this is where I've got to ask you, I think he hinders Morgan Rogers. So who do you prefer? Asensio or Morgan Rogers? I'm Morgan Rogers all day long. So I'm saying no to Asensio. Marcus Rashford, the biggest problem is £40 million option to buy, which is a hefty sum of money, but also his wages. He has to take a wage cut if he wants to join us. Barcelona are apparently rumoured to come in for Rashford. We'll keep an eye on that one. And apparently Rashford's desire. Look, they also believe that Man United want to recall Rashford back, get him out of Villa now. He's been there. He's got his injury. What's the point in hanging around? Rashford, of course, saying he only wants to play Champions League football, so he'll wait and see where we qualify. Ultimately, again, I look at Asensio and Rashford, and I think neither of these 2 players will sign for us. And so I have to then say, Have they served their purpose, Rashford and Asensio being on loan? Or have they, and get this one, stunted Villa? And why? I'm going to say a few players' names. Jacob Ramsey, Donyell Marlin, Morgan Rogers. I'll go back to Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers has been played out of position because of Marco Asensio. Rogers has found himself on the right wing as opposed to the number 10 role, which he loves, and therefore he's been hindered in that sense. Jacob Ramsey has lost out game time because of Marcus Rashford on the left, and I've even forgot to say Ollie Watkins. Watkins has lost out and hindered because of Marcus Rashford. So we talk about, loan signings and how incredible it is that we've got in Asensio and Rashford, and we should be really grateful. And this is exactly what Villa need. Well, hold on. They bolstered it, and Michael's right. They bolstered us when we needed them. It's very short-term thinking from Villa, because ultimately we could sign neither of them. We've regressed the development of Jacob Ramsey. We've regressed the development of Morgan Rogers. We've pissed off Donyell Marlin that he could knock on Unai Emery's door and say, listen, I want to leave because he didn't pick me for the Champions League over those two. Oh, and Ollie Watkins has gone, Unai, you don't even rate me over Rashford. He's not even a 9, so what am I doing here? See the problems? So you have to step back when you talk about Rashford and Asensio sometimes. And if we do not sign them permanently, or at least one of them, you have to question, did those loans serve a purpose? Basically, when Villa signed them in the league to where we are now, have we improved? That's all I'm going to say. So pause on that one and have a think on that. I think Morgan Rogers, for me, is the key example of loan players stunting development. If you play Morgan Rogers in the 10, you get the best output of him. What's the point in seeing him right wing Rogers? I never want to see right wing Rogers. I can't even speak. I think I'm thirsty as well. I never want to see right wing Rogers again. Chat, when you're at home, say right wing Rogers as quick as you can. I think it's hard to actually say. But there we go. Slightly off topic there from me. But yeah, big everyone keep smashing the like button for me. I appreciate it. If they don't want to play for us, then go. Exactly. Madison's hindered because of Dean, Malin because of Rashford. I prefer Malin. He has the strength for Rogers and speed of Rashford. Malin going to be massive for us. What if he wants to leave? That's my worry as well. What if Don Malin says, do you know what? I'm out of here. You don't even rate me to put me in the Champions League squad. Red Rebellion says you probably get someone better than Sensei, plus you'll be 30 next year. Exactly. You'll get max another 2 years out of him, and his legs will be gone. Coutinho 2.0. That was the feedback on a lot of the tweets. Andrew Holdsworth, big up to you, said that Sensei wages too high. And yeah, I think it's very interesting. I've got a cold water. It's in the kitchen, but yeah. Love my water. Pity to let Duran go is better than Watkins. Look, and that's what I talk about. The evil nemesis that is PSR. So yeah. Horrible one. So chat. Those are some of the big stories today that are breaking out. The only other piece of news, someone actually asked it earlier, is about Enzo Baranchea. He's basically saying that he's twerking for Valencia. Where's the other thing I wanted to show you? I wanted to show you something else. Here it was. Here was the Rashford story. Let me show you this Rashford story. Barcelona preparing to make a move for Marcus Rashford in the summer. He has his heart set on a summer move to Barca, but it's understood they're unwilling to pay the 40 million option to buy, and Manchester United agreed with Villa. So, here's my predominant thoughts, feelings, and emotions on this one. Okay? I don't want to be Rashford's second choice. I don't want Rashford to be our third choice. I don't want Rashford twerking for other football teams who then turn around and go, do you know what? Nah. And he has to go, do you know what? I don't even want to stay at Man United. Who's the only jokers that will take Villa? I'm worried that Rashford toys with us all summer and then leaves us hanging. I think Unai Emery and Monchi have to be very clear that Rashford has basically said, we don't get Champions League, he doesn't want to sign for us, so let's not go twerking for him. The situation that I always get scared about, and they're a bit of jokers, is how Man United spent a whole summer trying to get Frankie de Jong and then failed. Can you remember that summer? United spent all summer for Frankie de Jong. If I had to relate it to Villa, it's very much João Felix vibes. When we get linked to him, we look like we're chasing him. It doesn't happen. I will not be surprised if there is another João Felix Aston Villa rumour this summer again. I will not be surprised. If that one emerges, and I'll be a bit like, come on, I thought we were past this. So there we go. But look, Rashford to Barca, Champions League footy. They're not as financially stable as people would think. So 40 million would be too much then. I can just see Rashford. I'll be honest. I see Rashford having a bit of a stalemate and finding it hard to find a club. And I'm worried that we'll be his second, third, or fourth choice, and that we end up taking him. So I don't want that. I only want players who want to play for Villa because we're Villa, and that's the most important thing. So there we go. Right, chat. It's been great. I really appreciate all the chat. And here we're going to wrap up in a second. Listen, big favour for me. I know I always ask this, but with content and these lives, we're going to be hitting it hard this summer, especially the transfer. If you love the transfer talk, then this is the channel. I'm going to be going live every day. Okay, if I can, when I can. Sometimes emergencies come up in life, but I'm going to be going live. So notification bell on. It's as simple as that. You get your phone, right? You get that little bell right next to Aston Villa from the stands. You can see it, that little black bell. You need to get it to turn black. You need to press all. I don't know if my camera's going to focus. No, it's not. It's going to kill me, isn't it? Go on, focus. No. It's not going to focus. You press the all button and you get it on, right? Get notifications bell on. Press it for all. Make sure you allow notifications from your phone. Because I don't want you missing the uploads. I love all your comments. I try and interact with the chat as much as possible. That's what it's all about. Hearing your views, me having my views. We all enjoy football chat. And it's a good one. And I promise you, summer's coming fast. I was doing 7 p.m. slots on the lives, but I've noticed the 9 p.m. ones, much better turnout. So I think we might stick to the 9 p.m. slot. Big up to the Call of Duty bros on there. I love it that from AVFTS Clan, we've got people playing Call of Duty. Les and Jamie and the Collison. Big up to you guys. But yeah, seriously, get that notification bell on for me. Make sure you're ready for all the latest news. And yeah, who knows? Who knows what's around the corner tomorrow? We may even do a watch along tomorrow for the Europa League. But look, legends in the house as always. Go check out the pinned comment, become a member, notification bell on. Shout outs to Pete Tandy, Les and Jamie, Lee Collison. In fact, double shout out for my guy, Lee Collison. Big up to Michael Dimmitt as well, member for 28 months, legend in the clan. Big up to Adam Sky, Red Rebellion. Big up to Heidi. Big up to Les and Jamie, Danny Bradley, Michael Dimmitt, Ronald. Big up to Krim, to Brian. We've got so many people who commented today. Frosty, Albertia, Gary. If you're still all in here, guys, then big up to Michael Fraser. I'm just bowing out now, but big up to you, my friend. Big up to you. Hope go subscribe to Fraser Football Shorts as well, and of course Purely, the best one. But yeah, 9 p.m. I think is going to be our new slot time. I think it's going well in that slot, and we're happy. So there we go, people. Much love. Go chill out. Stay out of the sun. Get your sun cream on. Don't burn. Bozzy, you absolute legend as well. We're out of here. Ta